Okay, so I've been spending time in last video talking about all the data, and I just key point is for our major, for business major. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay, so okay, so we spent a lot of time last video talking about the data available for us. The key point is as a as a as a as a business student, we need to really understand um, the, 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 the nature of the data. So basically the idea here is what what's the data about? What's the nature of the data? And what the data can be used for? So for what kind of business question? This is the emphasis of this for our major. And of course, we have to understand technical issues we will talk about later on, but we have different focus from computer science major. That's one thing, my message I deliver. And then let's talk about a little bit exactly for investors, what do we do? For managers, what do we do? So looking at it here, this is the textual information we have. So what you do is normally for investors, you help them with trading strategies. So basically, you extract useful information from the textual data, and you tell investors should they invest or not invest. So very simple idea, very simple idea. So we have so much textual information available on the market. How can you, as a accounting finance professional, how can you extract the very relevant information from this textual image data and tell investors you can invest this stock or not that stock? So it's kind of making buy and sell recommendations, making trading decisions. That's what for investors. So there's a two like interesting area you guys can look into. One is um, one is um, one second. Okay, so there's two interesting area in this for investors. One is, you know, we need to get some information for household investors. Sometimes we call it daddy and mommy investors. Have you guys heard the event GameStop? Like normally sophisticated hedge funds, they have all the tools. They kind of rip off all the retail investors. But GameStop is a turning point. All the retail investors they herd together, they group together, and then they kind of go against hedge funds. So there's a great attention like in the industry and even in academia how we can get information for household investors. The reason is because for sophisticated hedge funds, these people they already have the tools. They already have the tools to extract the image data, textual data. They already are sophisticated enough to get things running. But for daddy and mommy investors, for ordinary household investors, how many people know machine learning? Like if you ask your mom and daddy, how many people know machine learning? How many people know data analytics? So so how exactly we can get the information for these people? This is one thing we want to know. This is new trend. So the idea here is for sophisticated hedge funds, um, people they already have the tools. We want to target some people who already like they are behind the game. We want to help them. We want to help them. This is one direction you guys can think about. This is household investor decision. Another one is machine learning. We are talking about momentary. Machine learning can do something traditional ways cannot do. Okay, so basically, machine learning can help extract more useful information than other methods. This is what we also need to learn. So this is for investors. This is in terms of investors, and also for managers. For managers, this is also important way. Managers, so we can extract the information for managers to make a lot of decisions, making investment decisions, hiring decisions, cash flow decisions, leverage decisions, IT decisions, even CSR decisions. So these are also I talk about later on, that you understand this textual data, the data set I talked about earlier in the last video. You can analyze this data to help managers to make decisions. So it depends on where do you work. So let's say Lozo get a job at a hedge fund company. Then you will analyze the data to help investors. But if Lozo get a job in the corporate, in the firm, then he's analyzing all the data to provide decision support for CEOs, executives. So depends on where do you work. Okay, do you work? But all the data analytics to serve these people. So basically, so uh, so basically, all the data analytics should serve these people. All the data analytics should either serve the investors or serve managers, serve creditors, like we discussed earlier. So here for managers, we help them to make a lot of decisions, investment decisions, leverage decisions. So one trend in this area is we found for public firms, the CEOs, they already have good decision making process. But private firms, startup, these managers, they need more help. So so looking at like a Google 20 years ago, he's huge, right? Google is like a battleship now. But look at Google in 2000, it's a very tiny firm. But at that time, they needed the decision support the most. Look at Google now. Do they need your decision help? They have all the resource to have all the data. They even they make a wrong decision, doesn't matter to them. No, I mean they are too big to fail. Too big to fail. So the idea here is there are many private firms, entrepreneurship. They just start their business. They are the people who need more help from this kind of data analytics, from this textual data analytics. So these are also another interesting angle you can look at, how to help these small firms, startups. For huge firms, for Google, Amazon, they they can afford to make wrong decisions, and they have a huge team to everything to support their decision making. Their decision making is very mature now. But for startups, for private firms, they are in the stage dying for this kind of data analytics. They're dying for it. So this is another direction you can look for. And we're also talking about the creditors. Creditors have two types of creditors: public creditors and private creditors. Public creditors means bond holders. Private creditors means banks. These are private creditors. So in these two ways, in this public and private, so what does that mean? Means they have different incentive to analyze the data. So for public creditors, they want to know whether the firm will go bankrupt or not. So that's bond holders are interested. So bank is interesting one. Bank is more interested in contracting, how to use the information to contract the loan. So different, like going back to my earlier points, different audience of your data analytics have different purpose. For bond holders, they're interested in whether you can pay back the cash, go default. For bank, they're interested in using the data to contract for loan contract. So that's for creditors. So government, we talk about government has common letter. They want to use the information to regulate the firm. So fraud, right? One thing is fraud. If the company is making fraud, the government want to use data analytics to detect the fraud before it happens, right? We have earlier some case companies making some fraud. If government can use data analytics get the fraud detected, then this is good for the government. So government has all incentive in this all the data used. And hiring decisions, who you should hire. Like when you guys go for a job, company have to make a decision: should they hire you or hire him, hire whom? So the hiring decision also use a lot for data analytics. For auditors predict restatement, fraud. Customer suppliers, yes, of course, this is very important because the supplier customers want to know how you are doing and use data analytics for supplier decision and customer decision. And these are all the examples, like going back to my earlier case, different audience. We have different purpose for your data analytics. You have to always memorize that. You have to always remember that important point. So, um, so, um, so these are the different ways to analyze textual data. We have a bag of words approach, which we'll talk about today. We have unsupervised, supervised. We have artificial intelligence. We have self-supervised transfer learning. This sounds complicated. Don't be scared, okay? Don't be scared. So today, what we are going to do is just focus on the bag of words, the easiest way to do text analysis. Next class, I will talk about the difference between different approach. I will give you examples. Like I said, you guys are not computer science major. I'm not going to give a gradient descent formula and just to derive the formula and all the math class. So what I'm going to do next class is I give you examples. I give you one example, like in the simplest bag of words approach, what bag of words approach do, and then machine learning, what machine learning to do, why machine learning can do something bag of words cannot do. So in the next session, I will just give you guys the example. I use example to explain the advantage of machine learning, and you guys can get the idea, and also you can go further. Okay, you can go further. But my point is, don't look at these terminology and stuff, get scared away. Oh, transfer learning, ensemble learning. Oh, this is just don't worry about that. Okay, let me just give you an idea here. Is we will talk about the keyword search today. This is the easiest one. Easiest. You cannot go easier than that. You want to go keyword search today. Next class, I will give you example. Using the example, I will explain what keyword search will do, what machine learning will do, and what kind of things machine learning can do, keyword search cannot do. What's the advantage of machine learning, and why we want to sometimes use machine learning, sometimes we don't use machine learning. I will use example to explain that next time. But today, let's just focus on the bag of words. Let's just focus on bag of words. So, okay, that's just in case, I just give you some ideas. This is examples. I will show you what machine learning can do, what keyword search cannot do. But today, let's just focus on the first keyword search. So what does keyword search mean? Keyword search is easy. It's really, the idea here of keyword search is you define keywords first. So for example, let's say, let's give an example. Earlier I was talking about the political risk. Political, do you see political here? Political. There's no political. Okay. Education, academics, earnings, performance, sentiment, justification, R&D, product, culture. Okay, let's use a culture. Let's use a culture as example. Let's change some words. Let's use okay, let's use political. Okay, we talked about political in the earlier case. Let's say, how did you get the textual information related to the political stuff? So the first step is you have to define keywords of political, right? Political keyword similar keywords is like political, ideology, Congress, this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff are the political keywords. So the number one step you need to do is to define a list of keywords that are related to politics. And then what do you do? And you in the passage, in the text, you search the keywords. So you can search. Oh, in this paragraph, it appears political keywords. In that paragraph, in that sentence appears political keywords. So by searching that, you can know that sentence is related to politics. If the sentence do not have political keywords, that means the sentence are not related to the political topics. So these are a very simple way to do a text analysis. And you can count, for example, you can count in the whole article how many political keywords are mentioned. The more political keywords are mentioned, that means the whole article is talking about politics. If none is mentioned, that means the article have nothing to do about politics. So basically, by counting the frequency of political keywords, you can know how much is the article related to the political topics. That's the idea of the keyword search. So basically, let me repeat it one more time. The political keyword search means you first define political keywords like political, Congress, ideology. This is political keywords. Once you have keywords, you count, like in article, in one article, how many political keywords appear in the article. If there is a higher frequency, that means the article is about political. If it's zero or not low frequency, that means the article is not about political. It's nothing to do with political. So this is using the frequency, you can count how many sentences are related to the political topics. This is what bag of words approach, keyword search approach. So one thing is, how do we define keywords? Like I just tell you, political is keywords is political ideology, congressman. This is defined on my own. If I ask Wei Qing, what's the political keywords? Wei Qing can give me different answer. What's the political keyword? So, how to define the political keywords? There's several ways. You can define. The first thing is you read the sample on your own. So for example, you read the conference call on your own, like a 100 conference call, and you pick up the words you believe is political keywords on your own. So this is a manual process. So basically, you do the job. You pick up the political keywords which you think is related to you. One disadvantage of that is subjectivity. You may think it is political keywords. I may think it's not. So how we do that? So you have two persons to do the same time. And then if the two persons agree with each other, then it's just keywords. If it's not, political keywords. So this is one way to get your keywords. Read by your own. Okay, have two people, three people read to get a consensus. This is one way to do that. Another way is a smart way. The smart way is, why don't we use political textbook? Politics textbook. So you guys take a political textbook. The textbook must be all the words in the political textbook is about political keywords. But there's a lot of noise words in that textbook. The textbook also talk about something else. So basically, what you do is you use the political textbook and take out all these noise words, and you have the political keywords left. So how to take out all noise keywords? You can use political textbook minus the economics textbook. Once you take a difference between the two, the leftover should be keywords related to the political keywords. So basically, assumption here is political textbook is political keywords plus noise keywords. The economics textbook is economic keywords plus noise keywords. When you offset two, the noise words are offset. They are gone. So that's the idea of this kind of methodology, to using textbook to build the keyword list. Another methodology is you can use a dictionary. So when you look at a dictionary, you can always find similar words to the politics, right? So that's another way. Use dictionary to expand the word list. That's the third way. And there's also machine learning way. I'm not going to talk about machine learning way today. This is just you guys, we have to talk about later on. Once you get some idea of the machine learning, you will know the machine learning can also help you to build up a dictionary, build up a keyword list for your bag of words approach. So these are the so to summarize, what we need is either you read on your own, you read the sample, you read the sample to get your own keywords. And if you disagree with other people, you get a consensus. Okay, that's one approach. Another approach is you get a ready, like a official textbook or white paper which is about the politics. So for example, in this case, we use political textbook minus another textbook. The difference should be political keywords. That's the second approach. The third approach is we use the dictionary to expanding the politics. When you look at the similar words of politics in the dictionary, you can always find what's the similar words to politics in the dictionary. That's the third approach. And then the other two approach are machine learning approach, which you will be interested. I think you will be interested. There's a little bit too much here to talk. And if you go to the Bilibili website, I think I did a very detailed explanation on that. You can check it out, and we can talk more in the following sessions. So these are the keyword search. What for the homework assignment, it's good. I don't ask any machine learning on your homework. You know, I don't ask any machine learning on homework. As long as you know the keyword search, you're good. You should be good. And then next class, I will talk about what's the limitation of keyword search, what machine learning can do beyond keyword search. This is next class. I will explain the examples. Like I said, next class I will tell you for keyword search, there's a limitation. Sometimes we need to introduce machine learning to do something. There's a lot of things. Machine learning can do. But keyword search cannot do. So in the next class, I will explain what machine learning can do, keyword search cannot do. That's for the next class.